My partner, Ricky's childhood buddy, busted her leg up in the rugged mountains, and he's low-key convinced I had a hand in it. Ricky hauled me into a cavern deep in the mountains. Then, he told someone to chuck a bag of veggie snakes into the cave. I warned you, don't mess with Lisa. Even though you're my wife, I'm never letting you go, he said, icy as ever. Without giving me a second glance, shaking with fear and constantly begging, he took his crew and bailed. A week later, Ricky rolled back with his team, but my body had already gone all rotten and stank up the place. The next morning, Ricky just showed up at work. The assistant came over with a pile of papers. Mr. Ricky, there are a few project proposals waiting for Miss Anna's signature, but nobody can reach her. Ricky hadn't even sat down yet, and Anna had the nerve to skip work. His face turned dark. Picking up his phone, he thought for a couple of seconds and then said coldly, "This woman's got beef, trying to use the company to control me. She thinks the business can't run without her. The plans are here, I'll sign them." These have always been Anna's responsibility. The assistant hesitated a bit. Ricky snorted sharply. "Have you forgotten whose company this is?" "Mr. Ricky, I'm sorry," the assistant stammered, her face paling with fear. "From now on, keep your mouth shut and mind your own business." After saying that, Ricky flipped through the project documents, skimmed them quickly, and signed his name. "Get me a ride. I'm heading to the hospital to see Lisa." The assistant hesitated, glanced at Ricky, and didn't dare stop him. The car sped to the hospital, and Ricky, carrying the precious supplements, went straight to the VIP room reserved for Lisa. Lisa saw him struggling to sit up and cheerfully said, "Brother Ricky, why are you here? I came to see you." Ricky quickly stepped forward, gently supporting her shoulder, and asked with concern, "Lisa, does your leg still hurt?" "A bit," she replied, looking pitiful yet trying to stay strong. "I can manage. Don't want to slow you down at work or make my sister-in-law jealous." Ricky snorted coldly. "Don't even mention her. She's getting more unreasonable by the day." "Ah, Brother Ricky, Anna's amazing. Don't say anything bad about her," Lisa snapped angrily. "Lisa, you're too innocent. You just came back to the country and have no enemies here. If Anna didn't mess you up, then who did?" Ricky's face was full of rage. "I can't believe it." Lisa widened her eyes. "I don't think my sister-in-law is that kind of person. We're just family. Why would she want to harm me?" "All right, I know her better than you do. No need to defend her. I threw her into the cave where you had your accident yesterday and even tossed in a bag of snakes. She's terrified of snakes, so let's see if she dares to do it again. Brother Ricky, Lisa isn't worth you going this far for." "I thought we could still be like kids, but once you grow up, there's no going back. Brother Ricky, you should go apologize to your sister-in-law. I don't want us to drift apart because of me. Once my leg's better, I'll go back abroad." Lisa sighed, her eyes filled with sadness. "Lisa, don't leave." Ricky's expression shifted dramatically as he hurried to stop her. "This time, don't bail again. If she tries to hurt you, I'll dump her. I don't care about her anymore, and the company doesn't need her." Hearing the word dump, Lisa's lips twitched into a slight smile. Ricky didn't notice, and neither did she, but I saw it. All of them had no clue I was watching them as a soul. The soul doesn't feel pain, but Ricky's words pierced my heart like 1,000 arrows, leaving me breathless. Damn, how blind I was to fall for a guy like him, going through life and death together. I met Ricky in college. He was like a prince, handsome and from a good family. I was his Cinderella, forced to stay in the shadows. Once I passed out in the snow from low blood sugar. Ricky took me to the hospital and even paid for my stay thoughtfully. To repay him right after graduation, I turned down offers from big companies and joined Ricky's family business. Not long after, his family faced tragedy. His parents died in a car crash. Ricky wasn't great at managing the business, and the company was on the edge of collapse. I pushed my mentor to recognize my efforts and provide strategic guidance, and I painstakingly completed several project proposals for major clients. Only then did he gain some footing in the industry and the company got back on track. Ricky confessed his feelings to me, and I felt like the happiest person alive. Doing what I loved, marrying the person I loved, just missing a kid. When we got married, Ricky said he wasn't into big weddings and wanted to elope. Although I wanted our friends and family to witness the wedding, I respected his wishes. Even Ricky's brother told me he didn't like my rural background, that I had no parents, and he was scared of the shame from poor relatives. Ricky still had that pure heart, but at the time, I only had eyes for him. And if you don't trust your brother's words, then blame him for ruining our marriage. Over the years, I worked hard to improve my skills and learn operations, single-handedly supporting the company. I thought life would always be perfect as the company kept improving. Until Lisa showed up, 6 years together couldn't compete with a childhood friend. In Ricky's eyes, I saw light for the first time. But sadly, it wasn't meant for me. I didn't believe that years of support couldn't match childhood sweethearts. But now I do. And I paid the price with my life. For the past 2 days, Ricky stayed in Lisa's hospital room. Many nurses and doctors, clueless about the truth, thought they were a married couple. People envied this ordinary couple and saw them as a model. They didn't clear up their relationship. Today, Ricky's assistant rushed over. "Mr. Ricky, you need to get back to work ASAP. Miss Anna hasn't shown up for 3 days, and many projects are on hold." The assistant said anxiously. "Anna hasn't come back yet." Ricky's tone got stern. "Damn it, what does she want? Tell her if she doesn't show up soon, I'm revoking her director position." "We tried reaching her, but no luck," the assistant replied bitterly. "This woman's gone too far, trying to use the company to threaten me." "Fine, I underestimated this village girl all these years." Ricky was fuming. "Brother Ricky, if you've got work at the company, handle it. Company matters are crucial," Lisa said gently. "Lisa, wait for me to sort out the company's mess before I come to you." Ricky took a deep breath and said softly, clenching my fist, "The last warning wasn't enough. This time, I need to make this woman understand her place. Back to the company." Ricky stormed back to work in a rage. When he got to the company, everything was in chaos. Seeing him, the planning and marketing teams all swarmed around, making a noisy scene. "Shut up," Ricky roared. "My company backs you all. Are you just freeloading? I don't care about your struggles. I want results. If you can handle it, do it. If not, get lost and let someone capable take over." With that, he kicked everyone out. "Have you ever tried finding Anna and her fake friends?" Ricky asked coldly, sitting in the boss's chair. "Mr. Ricky, we've searched everywhere, but her friends say they haven't seen Miss Anna." The assistant shook her head. Ricky squinted, and after a couple of minutes, she thinks these little tricks can catch me? Isn't she trying to hide? I wonder how long she can keep it up. Head to West Seattle Community, No. 309, and kick her mentor out for me." "Doesn't she respect that old guy? If she's got the skills, she should stay low-key." The assistant's expression changed drastically. Miss Anna lost her parents in middle school, and her mentor was like a parent to her. During the company's crisis, Miss Anna's mentor helped her wholeheartedly, but now to kick her out when she's down is just too much. "Aren't you leaving yet?" Ricky asked coldly. "Yeah." The assistant could only sigh inwardly. "Anna, don't you want to go?" "Then I'll come with you," Ricky muttered to himself. At that moment, I trembled, looking at Ricky like he was a stranger. I never thought Ricky could go this far. We were married, and even if there were no feelings left, after all these years, I managed the company to its current scale for him, and he showed no remorse. Plus, if it wasn't for my mentor's help back then, his company wouldn't be where it is now. My mentor was aging, and after he retired, I wanted to bring him to live with me, but Ricky disagreed. I had to buy him a 2-bedroom apartment nearby. Over the years, he rarely visited my mentor, let alone go himself. I used to think he was just busy, but now I see he has no gratitude for me. His mentor who saved him. Not even basic respect. Plus, by now, Ricky still thought I was purposely setting him up, never considering if I had an accident. He tossed me into the cave, leaving behind a bag of veggie snakes. I don't know if it was intentional or if the person who bought the snakes was careless, but there was a venomous snake among them. My phone was broken, couldn't call for help, and I got bitten by a snake. In that narrow, damp cave, I, who had been scared of snakes since childhood, struggled to control my fear and tried to climb out, but failed. My body temperature kept rising, feeling weak all over. I stared despairingly at the hole, letting the snakes crawl over me, my heart slowly stopping. At the moment of death, I wished Ricky would appear at the entrance, but he never showed up until the end. My mentor had no clue what was happening and was promptly escorted out by Ricky's assistant. Ricky thought I'd show up quickly this time. But unexpectedly, 2 days passed with no news. He had an outburst at the company last time, held it together for 2 days, but these past 2 days, he felt it slipping away. The company's backlog was growing, and without me, the planning team couldn't come up with solid proposals for clients. The planning department had always relied on me. I once suggested spending money to bring in a few experts to oversee things, but he didn't want to spend the cash and didn't agree. Now that I wasn't here, the whole company was nearly paralyzed. Ricky just ignored it and went to Lisa's hospital. During the day, he was at the hospital and only came home at night. On the fourth day, just as he got home, there was a sudden knock at the door. Ricky opened it and saw my mentor standing there. "Where's Anna?" Ricky frowned slightly. "Ricky, have you had a fallout with Anna?" My mentor asked cautiously. "I have no right to pry into your marriage, but when there are serious issues between a couple, it's best to talk it out." The soul doesn't cry, but seeing the respected mentor cautiously in front of Ricky, I felt a sting in my eyes. My mentor, always a figure of great respect, like a towering mountain, was so humble in front of Ricky for my sake. In my life, I never wronged anyone, only my esteemed mentor. Once he learns I'm dead, I fear he'll suffer the most. Hey, keep acting. It was Anna who asked you to do this, right?" Ricky sneered. "What?" My mentor was baffled. "Anna really thought I couldn't live without her. Tell her to stop this disappearing act. If she wants to come back, she can. If not, let's divorce." After saying that, Ricky slammed the door shut. A loud knock echoed at the door, and Ricky impatiently dialed the property management's number. Soon the entrance went quiet. I watched Ricky, fuming with anger in my current soul state. I truly wished I could tear him apart. When Ricky misunderstood and blamed me for hurting Lisa and threw me into the cave, I didn't hate him this much. When the venomous snake bit me, I didn't hate it as much as when those snakes I feared crawled on me. But now, I really hate it so much. That day, to be honest, I had no idea what was happening. An important client needed an urgent project proposal, and I worked through the night to finish it. Just back home with barely 2 hours of sleep when, for some unknown reason, Ricky showed up at my door with some people. I didn't even get to explain before I was knocked out. When I woke up, I was already in that cave with him. Only then could I ask what was going on, but Ricky was convinced I was the one who had someone harm Lisa, and he wouldn't listen to me at all. He just left me there without a second thought, never considering if he'd wronged me. The next day, as Ricky left the community gate, he saw my mentor waiting there. He looked exhausted, eyes red, clearly having waited all night. "Ricky, you said Anna is missing? What's going on? What happened between you two?" My mentor stepped forward, timidly asking, eyes full of concern. "You still want to play games, huh?" Ricky said grimly. "You still got the nerve to ask me? Why don't you ask your good student what's up?" "Ricky, I really haven't seen Anna. I can help you curse her, but you have to bring her back, okay?" "What if something happened to Anna?" my mentor asked with concern. "She's better off dead. If she doesn't want to come back, then let her be," Ricky said and got into the car, driving away. My soul could only follow Ricky. I longed to stay by my mentor's side, but I could only watch from afar. My mentor was over 80 years old and tried to chase after the car to ask questions, but after a few steps, he fell to the ground. I tried hard to speak, but no sound came out. As soon as Ricky arrived at the company entrance, a crowd gathered. "What happened?" Ricky suddenly had a bad feeling. "Mr. Ricky, our company can't deliver the project proposals and the executives want to meet Miss Anna. If they can't, they'll sue us," the planning director said bitterly. "What?" Ricky's expression changed instantly. "I'll handle finding Anna, but you hurry up and hand over the plans. Our plans don't meet their requirements. Only Anna can fix this," said the head of the planning department. "You." Just as Ricky was about to yell, the planning head spoke first. "Mr. Ricky, I admit we're useless. This is my resignation letter. I can take the fall and resign. But the problem is, aside from Anna, I don't think anyone in Sherman City can come up with a perfect solution. We urgently need to find Anna, or the company will face huge compensation." At this moment, Ricky finally panicked. "Did you find Anna like I asked?" He turned to his assistant. "Mr. Ricky, we think we found her, but I'm not sure if it's Miss Anna." The assistant said, her face pale. "Want to come with me to check?" "What are you looking at? Hurry up and get her back to write the plans. This time, she can't deny it." Ricky took a deep breath, but a glint of coldness flashed in his eyes. It seemed that in the company's crisis, he was ready to set aside his pride and make a deal with me. But judging by his expression, this compromise was only temporary. He was likely already plotting other forms of revenge in his mind. The assistant looked at Ricky, tears welling up. "Mr. Ricky, if that's Anna, she might not come back. Why hasn't she returned? Is another company trying to poach her?" Ricky said with a grim expression, "Take me over there. I want to ask her. How can she ignore our marital bond? She said she wanted to be a good wife when we married. What kind of nonsense is that for a good wife?" "Mr. Ricky, no, it's yes." The assistant was about to cry, hesitated for a moment before speaking. "Mr. Ricky, you should go and check it yourself." Of course I gotta see for myself. I want to see what tricks she's up to." Ricky sat in the car with a cold expression. The car drove towards the cave where the incident happened, Ricky's brow darkening. He said coldly, "This woman's got schemes waiting for me here. Damn it. She's taking advantage of the company needing her, trying to force me to make Lisa leave. I hope Anna doesn't misjudge the situation. Otherwise, even if it means sacrificing the company, I won't let her have her way." "Mr. Ricky, you should go see for yourself," the assistant said, weeping uncontrollably. "Good. Anna, this village girl knows how to appreciate kindness. I can act like nothing happened. The director position and my wife are still yours. As long as you know how to appreciate kindness." Ricky's eyes grew colder. "Then, don't blame me for not being sentimental. Back then, you went all out to marry me, and now I want to see if you're truly willing to leave. If you think you can manipulate me, you're not worth it." Ricky was as cold as ice, ready for the worst-case scenario. At the cave entrance, there was no trace of me inside, only a wave of foul odor hitting him. "Why does it smell so bad here? Where is Anna? Tell her to come see me," Ricky said impatiently. "Mr. Ricky, you look below," the assistant said, trembling. Ricky furrowed his brow and looked down into the cave, his expression changing as he saw my decayed corpse and the snakes crawling over it. He stared blankly at my body, and the few bodyguards he brought were also dumbfounded. They were the ones who accompanied Ricky to bring me here and leave me behind. The snakes were also tossed by them. Now that the person was dead, once the incident occurred, none of them could escape. Suddenly, Ricky slapped the assistant's face and said grimly, "You treacherous bitch, how dare you collude with that village girl, Anna, to deceive me?" The assistant was stunned. "You stole a corpse and disguised it like this, thinking I'd be fooled." "This isn't Anna at all," Ricky said angrily. "Mr. Ricky, I don't have—" The assistant covered her face, eyes red. "You lot, bury this body and seal the entrance." The bodyguards exchanged glances but obediently buried the corpse and cleaned up the scene. As they cleared the bodies, they trembled uncontrollably, seeming to guess the truth, but none dared speak it. By the time they buried my remains, cleaned up the scene, and covered the cave entrance, everyone at the company was waiting for me to return, but Ricky came back without seeing my shadow. They hurriedly asked what was going on, but Ricky ignored the questioning employees and locked himself in his office. At that moment, his face turned pale instantly, and he trembled uncontrollably. "That's not Anna. I just threw her into the cave. How could she be dead? She's trying to trick me on purpose. That treacherous and cunning vixen. I want a divorce. I want to divorce her." Looking at Ricky, I couldn't help but let out a bitter laugh. At this point, he didn't feel the slightest bit of sorrow for me. In fact, he showed not an ounce of guilt. The only thing to fear might be severe legal punishment. I never showed up. The company's problems were piling up, and most of the proposals were being rejected. The company's issues were escalating, and most of the planning department's proposals were being returned. Many partner companies initiated legal actions, demanding compensation based on the contract. The head of the planning department resigned under pressure. At this moment, Ricky should have stepped up to solve the problem, but he didn't think of a way to fix the company's troubles. Instead, he ran to the hospital. "Brother Ricky, you haven't come to see me for days. Is it because sister-in-law's back and won't let you come? Seeing Ricky, Lisa said with red-rimmed eyes, feeling wronged. Alas, I've become an obstacle between you two. I feel I should leave, but unfortunately, my legs are useless, and I can't walk yet. Tell your sister-in-law not to worry. Once my legs are better, I'll definitely leave. If it were any other time, Ricky would have definitely persuaded Lisa to stay and cursed me out. But now, he had no intention to curse me, trembling as he said, Lisa Anna, she might be dead. Dead. Lisa was also stunned by this news. Ricky recounted the whole story and even shared his theory, suggesting that I might be deliberately hiding, using that corpse to stage a scene. I chuckled to myself. After all, we're a married couple, yet I'm seen this way in his mind. Brother Ricky, whether Anna is really dead or just pretending, you need to prepare for a way out, Lisa said seriously. If Anna really dies, then it'll be a problem. Ricky took a deep breath, trying to calm down, but his slightly trembling fingers showed he wasn't. Lisa, have you made any connections abroad over the years? Ricky asked. Yeah, Lisa nodded. Brother Ricky, I have a friend abroad who works in media and has always wanted to do planning but lacks experience. You happen to have experience in this area, and I think you could take this opportunity to expand abroad. That way, it won't matter if Anna had an incident or not. Is it possible to do business overseas? Ricky said somewhat uncertainly. Brother Ricky, I believe you can do it, and I'm here for you abroad. I'll always be by your side, Lisa suddenly said, her face full of shyness. Brother Ricky, this time when I returned to the country, I originally wanted to confess my feelings to you. All these years, I've been trying to forget what we had back then. I didn't expect that when I came back, you were married. I thought we were destined to be apart in this lifetime, and I wanted to go back abroad and try to forget you. But I really can't bear it. I'm so afraid that if I go back, I won't be able to forget you and will lose you forever. Even if it means being labeled as a mistress, I just want to be by your side. Brother Ricky, I know this isn't right, but I truly love you so much. Lisa leaned against Ricky and began to cry. Lisa, I actually haven't forgotten you all these years. If it weren't for the unexpected changes at the company back then, how could I have married that village girl, Anna? We didn't even have a wedding because I still have you in my heart. I looked at the two of them and felt an overwhelming sense of irony. What a perfect match of love and desire. I seemed to have become the opportunistic third party. But in reality, when Ricky's family had trouble and the company was about to go bankrupt, he did think about going abroad to find Lisa, but she dismissed him with just a few words. I gradually pulled the company out of the mire and I never asked for anything in return. The company improved, and I was still earning the same internship salary of 3,000 yuan a month without taking any shares. But now it had come to this point, and even after Ricky caused my death, he was actually thinking of taking the company's money and going abroad with Lisa. Ricky and Lisa had been plotting for a long time. The next day, Ricky had his assistant send my mentor back to his hometown. They wanted to go abroad, but first they had to keep news of my death a secret. Those bodyguards definitely wouldn't dare leak any secrets. The only variable was my mentor. But when they went to find my mentor, he had disappeared. Ricky became nervous and sped up with Lisa. Although Ricky was the president, it was still impossible for him to withdraw a large sum from the company. Every transaction in a large company follows a process. Lisa had started a handbag company recently. Under the guise of a partnership between two companies, Ricky withdrew most of the company's working capital and transferred it to the partner company's account. I watched them calmly. If we had this money, maybe Ricky could hire a master planner and save the company. But now, it was too late to turn back. After handling all of this, Ricky and Lisa agreed to meet at the airport the next day. Watching these two roll up the money and prepare to escape abroad, all I felt was hatred and helplessness. But the next day, at the agreed time, Lisa never showed up. Ricky anxiously dialed the phone, only to be met with a message that the number had been disconnected. He paced back and forth anxiously, watching as the boarding time approached. Ricky hesitated for a moment, preparing to change his flight ticket first, deciding everything else once he was abroad. When he could change the ticket, he was dumbfounded. The ticket had been refunded yesterday. Even Ricky, no matter how clueless, realized something was wrong. Lisa, you little bitch, how dare you deceive me? Ricky went mad. This time, not only was my money swindled, but he also suddenly realized that my death couldn't be kept a secret forever. Something would happen sooner or later. Thinking of this, Ricky instantly collapsed, crazily smashing and hitting the airport. This action caught the attention of the airport police, and seeing the officers, Ricky felt guilty and wanted to escape. But they hadn't gone far when they were brought to the police station by the officers. Upon arriving at the police station, Ricky gradually calmed down and contacted his assistant. "Come pick me up at the airport." Ricky called his assistant. The assistant arrived quickly, but a few police officers came along with her. Seeing the police, Ricky suddenly collapsed to the ground. At that moment, he finally regretted it, but it was already too late. The cave was sealed off by the police. Seeing my corpse, my aged mentor fainted instantly. These days, he was most worried that I would have an accident, and indeed, what one fears often comes true. It was all thanks to my mentor that Ricky could be brought to justice. Unable to find me, the mentor contacted my fellow disciples, and with their help, they reported to the police. The police quickly traced Ricky's company. Faced with the police, Ricky's assistant dared not hide anything and revealed the whole truth. The news of Ricky killing his wife for his mistress quickly spread across the internet. My autopsy report moved countless people. The report showed that I was poisoned by snake venom. My body had been decaying for a long time, and there were traces of snakes crawling over it. There were streaks of blood at the scene, evidence of my desperate struggle to climb, proving just how hopeless it was in the cave at that time. This matter became a trending topic online, and many reporters interviewed my colleagues and company partners. Many colleagues learned of my death and were saddened to tears. And many of them had worked with me to gradually save Ricky's company from the brink of bankruptcy, supporting it to reach where it is now. Many of the company's partners praised my character and planning skills endlessly. I had once planned many proposals for free during their company's crisis. Many partners wanted to sue Ricky, thinking I was competing with him for control of the company, using this method to support me. As long as I showed up, they would withdraw the lawsuit, but I never expected to be killed by Ricky in such a tragic way. Countless netizens were filled with grief and anger. Watching the news online, I couldn't help but sigh deeply. I never expected that a stranger online would feel sad for me while my partner hadn't shown even a hint of sorrow over my death. It's truly ironic. The matter between Ricky and Lisa didn't escape the netizens. Their relationship quickly became public. Those who had seen them in the hospital and envied their relationship were all stunned by the news. They posted about the hospital online, saying this man killed his wife and still acts all lovey-dovey with his mistress in the hospital. This is a man's sense of honor and disgrace. Female classmates must choose their men wisely. Knowing a person's face but not their heart, who would have thought he wears a human skin yet, is worse than a beast. The internet stirred up a wave, demanding the death penalty for Ricky, to be carried out immediately. It's urgent. Sharing the same air as such a person is a disgrace. While Ricky awaited sentencing, more information was uncovered, mostly concerning Lisa. Lisa was in massive debt abroad and was also involved with a married man. As a result, that man was a freeloader, and she returned to her home country because she couldn't stay abroad. Lisa was pushed off the mountain while being pressured for debt, and this had nothing to do with me from start to finish. Lisa's whereabouts were also discovered. She left the country after cheating Ricky out of his money, but after a few carefree days, the man she had been flirting with abroad was also kicked out because of what had happened back then. They came to the rented room and chopped Lisa into several pieces. Her death was tragic and can be considered the retribution she deserved. In the courtroom, Ricky argued frantically, "I didn't kill Anna at all. I just wanted to scare her with a snake. Who knew there would be a venomous snake inside? Your Honor, I am innocent. Her death was an accident and has nothing to do with me. Anna is my wife, and we promised to support each other for a lifetime. I definitely didn't do this. I am innocent. I am innocent." At this point, Ricky still felt no remorse and was still looking for excuses to absolve himself. Looking at Ricky in the courtroom, my heart was now as calm as still water. Perhaps I was wrong from the very beginning, loving someone I shouldn't have loved. He married me at first simply because the company couldn't do without me, and he didn't want to give me any shares. Unwilling to accept that the other never loved me. Indignant at his lack of conscience. These grudges and resentments seemed utterly ridiculous in this situation. I originally wanted to wait for the court's verdict for Ricky to receive the punishment he deserved before leaving. But suddenly, I lost interest in all of this. At that moment, a warm sensation came from above my head. A beam of light pulled me upward, and under its tug, my figure gradually disappeared into the light. Watching the aged mentor in the courtroom and Ricky's heart-wrenching cries, 2 drops of tears fell from my soul. It turned out that for someone I shouldn't have reached for, I let go of so many people I shouldn't have let go of.